Hi guys, welcome to Challenge 10 of Next Top Nail Artist Season 6. This week is sponsored by Wildflowers and the title is Another Dimension. So this week we have been challenged to create an optical illusion inspired by the street art of David Zinn's. Our piece must be created along 10 nail tips using Wildflowers art paste and pop-up gel and look 3D, although it can't actually be any higher than 1 centimetre. David Zinn creates 2D work that when viewed from a certain angle looks as though it's 3D. So I'm going to get stuck right in and explain to you how this process works. So this here is my sort of rough gingerbread house sketch, and because it is flat on the table like this and not parallel to the camera, you can see that these lines here are kind of merging off into a point in the background, and that is how perspective works. So to make this look as though it's sort of bursting out of the page, we need to try and counteract that perspective. So these lines that are like this need to be more like this. So this is all very complicated, and to be honest it gives me a headache, but we're going to roll with it and see what happens. So because we want it to look upright, we need to measure it out as though it is upright, if that makes sense. So I've got the perfect tool for this, and that is a shellac box. Thank you, Dan Arnold. So I'm going to pop that here, and I've already marked out on the side sort of marking so that I can measure. So this line here is 4 centimetres, and it doesn't matter if the box is like this or like this, as long as this corner matches up with this corner. So I'm going to put that there, and then we're going to recreate this, I don't know, wall edge here. So 4 centimetres, it's going to be really tricky. If I mark it on the paper, is about there. So this larger outline here is now my new design, and it is starting to sort of take form and look as though it's coming out of the page. But if I show you from above, it looks really mad. So once I got to grips with the concept, I needed to plan what I was actually going to draw. So I took to Facebook and asked my friends and family which objects reminded them of me. And with friends like these, I mean, who needs enemies? But some of the nicer comments were things such as frogs, bright lipstick, leopard print, skulls and gingerbread, because my own home salon is decorated like my very own little gingerbread house. Creating a 3D optical illusion on a flat surface is hard enough, but trying to add it onto my nail tips was almost impossible. So eventually I came up with the idea of actually projecting it onto the tips by using a clear sheet of Perspex. I used a broken tray that I managed to salvage, and then tracing the design onto it and projecting it onto the nail tips using a torch, and then I could trace around it. So once I'd finished tracing out my design onto the tips, I added a few details using the Wildflowers art paste, which created quite a cool 3D relief effect. Some areas that were a bit tricky to build up with the art paste, I used Wildflowers pop-up gel instead, and I could apply that in layers, curing between each one, and it quickly gave quite a raised or textured effect. So by laying the piece down flat on my desk and looking at it from a low angle, I could see that it was sort of starting to take shape and look as though it was sort of popping up out of the table. But I thought I'd enhance this by cutting away some of the background, and then it was a case of just building up the layers of colour to finish the piece. So as always, I hope you've enjoyed this video and thank you for watching.